Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, Vanity Ezel back with Card Fight Vanguard as on the Vanity weekly videos because director tonight constant subscribe and so sorry. This time we're covering set I guess the Bermuda set reveal since set 13 finished. I mean, we have one set 13 reveal in this batch, but otherwise it's pretty much all Bermuda reveals from the Lyrical Monasterio set. If you're wondering why I'm doing this in Discord now instead of on the Google slide, just because I kind of waited to the last minute to do this. Not because I got lazy, because a lot of stuff came up, like a lot of stuff came up, and I didn't really have time to push this over to the Google slide, so we're doing it from here. So let's go and get started, shall we? First up, we have Dreaming of Meeting Hester, act rearguard, cost, counterboss 1, retire her to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You choose up to choose up to 2 cards with earnest correct in their card names from run them, put them into your hand and shuffle the deck, and if you chose 2 cards with the same card name, you countercharge 1, she's a great on boost 5, can show an AK power. So cool, being able to basically make herself just a retire and possibly get 2 earnest scouts is great if they're of the same name, of course. Otherwise, just CB1 retire her and then get 2 earnest scouts, which is nice. My only thing is your reveal top 3 feels like it's too little of space to hit earnest correct, especially because she herself is not an earnest correct. But hey, she's not a horrible grade 1, so she does warrant at least like a 2 of or 3 of, but you don't want to go too far because again, herself is not earnest correct and she can eat up CB by this. And then we have our set 13 card, it's the final set 13 card, and that is Other Side Tracer. Great on boost 5k shield, AK base, auto rear guard 1e boost if your soul has 5 or more cards, choose 1 pros vanguards, and for every 2 of that unit grade, it gets plus 3k power for the battle. Cool, you know, Virina did this best with its broken ass prayer dragons that basically got plus 2k per grade on swing and not per every 2 grades, but I mean, hey, it's not a horrible card, so 1 of 2 of maybe? Then we have Personal Guard Carlotta, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, AK base. Contains your rear guard circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Felty Rose in its card name, she gets intercept, and she can intercept from the back row, and she gets plus 2k power on top of all of that, and is active on both players' turns. So cool, being a back row interceptor who can be called via Felty Rose's skill is great, and she's a 10k booster, so all around she's a very solid grade 1. She works for multi-attack, she works for defense, all around she's nice, and I like her for like a 2 or 3 for Felty Rose, honestly. Then we have our new Bermuda Lyrical Monasterio encounter cards, which is Pacifica. I don't know how to feel about this one, but let's go ahead and start, shall we? First up, we have Diva of the Night Mooney Sate. Okay, it's the on road upon starter. The only reason I like this line, straight up, the only reason I like this line at all is because her name is Diva of the Night Moon. There's no more I need to say about this. Then we have Sparkling Diva Spirit Anais, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, AK base, auto road upon, and look at the top 7 cards of your deck. 2 cards with Pacifica in its card name. I hate saying that word because like specific, and I can't say the word specific, so saying Pacifica is like really hard. Anyways, add them to the hand and shuffle your deck. So cool, can add any 2 Pacifica units. I have to like pause because I know I'm going to say it wrong. Anyways, being able to add any 2 grade 3s is nice because it adds stride fodder if you're playing premium. It adds persona rides. It adds the other one that is really important that plays like Minerva. So nice card. Downside is it has no rear guard skill, but one of them in the red deck is nice. Then we have Rock Diva Monette, grade 2 and a 5k shield, 10k base, auto rule upon by a grade 3 with Pacifica in his card name. Choose 1 of your vanguards, and the cost of that unit's original act ability is reduced by counterboss 1 till end of turn. So cool that it works for any of them, so they ever give us an evolved version of her, and it also has an act skill, then its cost is reduced by 1. The downside of this is, like, I don't know, I feel like this is, I mean, it is just a blatant copy and paste of what's it called, Gandiva's ride line, but it's not as bad as like the cards that were discard 1, draw a card, discard 1, place in like the Soul Blaster card instead of ride deck, or instead of discarding for ride deck. Like at least Monette's is only copied once compared to those guys, which was copied a lot. So Monette's a nice 1 of in the ride deck, you know, sadly none in the main deck, and she has a beautiful moon in the background. Then we have Top Idol Pacifica. So grade 3 to persona at 13k base, active Vanguard circle, hard once per turn, counterblast 1, or the turn you wrote it from Monette free, and bot deck any hand card to bottom, so any triggers, PGs, persona rides, etc., to draw 2 cards. Cool, it replaces a hand card to get you more out of it, and the bright side is you can shuffle back triggers with this. And you may be saying, well, it doesn't shuffle back triggers. Auto Vanguard, when this unit attacks into a Vanguard by counterblasting 1 and soul blasting a Pacifica unit. Search your deck for 1 normally to call it to an open rear guard circle and shuffle your deck. There's your trigger shuffling abilities. All around pretty solid because it gets to bot deck triggers, it gets to call stuff out. The only downside is it requires a Pacifica and Soul for that ability to go off, so if you don't have one, then sucks for you. However, we do have ways to get them in Soul, Persona writing, send them to Soul via effects, or we have a card that works just like Angelica does in Minerva. Grade 3 General Persona 13k base and Planet Idol Pacifica. Continue center to back or rear guard circle. During your turn, if you have Vanguard with Pacifica in its card name, it can attack from back row, and if your opponent's Vanguards are grade 3 or greater, it gets plus 10k power. So cool, 13k swing regardless, another grade 3, 23k swing that auto at the end of the battle that this unit attacked if it's on rear guard. If you have a Vanguard with Pacifica in its card name, again, doesn't matter which one. I think they're hitting that like a cross-red evolution from like, what was the Stride one called again? I know there was a Stride one. Whatever the Stride one is called, if it's not Planet Idol, it's definitely going to be that. Anyways, at the end of the battle, put it to Soul to choose one of your units, and until end of turn, it gets 5k power, and then if it was put from back center, you get to draw a card. All around pretty solid. The thing I love about this is while this ability is restricted to being back center, sadly, this ability isn't. Meaning, if you do what I did one game and then just spam out a full board of them, you get good numbers. Okay, well, actually, no, it is possible to do that. You get the numbers and then you just draw a bunch of cards. You only get the draw if you're in center back row, but I mean, hey, stacking 5k to something is great, and you can give it to anything, whether it's Vanguard or rear guard, so very solid 4 of. And then we have getting a front row seat Barnanda, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear guard. When the attack this unit boosted hits, look at the top 7 cards, reduce to 1 card with Pacifica's card name from among them, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck, and if you added a card, put this unit to bottom of deck. So cool, can send itself back, it searches for Pacifica units, all around very solid, nice grade 1, has on hit pressure, nice 3 of. Then we have a beautiful countercharger, inspiring singing voice Losen, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto rear guard the battle this unit boosted, retire it to choose up to 2 cards with Pacifica on their card names from your drop zone and return the deck and shuffle it. And if you chose 2 cards, countercharge 1. Okay, her countercharge is helpful, but what really is helpful about this is this prevents me from decking out. I have gotten so close to decking out with Pacifica every single time I played that deck except for one. And Laosen's pretty much the only reason why I don't, because I just happened to send back 2 Pacificas right before I hit like that line of I can no longer do drive checks. So 4 of her, she is very good for CC, and she literally just recycles our things. So nice card. And then we have Rival Ocean Solonge, grade 2 set 5k shield, 10k base, auto and placed on rear guard circle, counter boss 1, check top 7. Add to 1 card with Pacifica and its card name from them, shuffle your deck, and if you didn't add a card, counter charge 1, so either you get something or you don't, and then auto rear guard when your other unit attacks from the center back row to under turn, she has 5k power. Cool, so 15k, you are able to Soul Blast out of Pacifica, like for example this, and then call a second copy of it from deck to back center, because it doesn't require you to call any card of a specific grade as long as it's a normal unit. But the thing I hate about this is that means you have to go through these things so quickly, and I feel like that's kind of bad. So I try to open up the front or rear guard circles as much as possible, and when you look at it, like none of her support cards open up the front row except for Top Idol, or not Top Idol, Planet Idol. So it's kind of weird. I think that's the kind of the point of the deck, though. They're just supposed to sub this to Soul from the back row and then immediately call it back out and then just shuffle it back into deck with this one. But I don't know. It feels weird, though, that like you don't want to call stuff to front row, but whatever. Very good support card, 4 of. We then move on to Impulsive Skater Mugen, grade 2 set 5k shield, 10k base, or Mugun, not Mugen, because Mugen is like EN, and that is infinite, and I don't think her name means infinite. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Autonomously placed on rear guard from the deck. If you have a Vanguard with Willista, not Wilstra, whatever Wilstra is, choose a gem card from your drop zone and put it to hand. Cool. So recycle the gems that you Soul Blast out for the Vanguard skill. Honestly, not a bad grade 2. I will consider it 2 of. I don't really need it too much because the deck already recycles enough for me, but if I did feel like I needed it, 2 of. Then we have what I like to call actual leaks, because I know what like these are, like I like to call these ones reveals, or like these reveals because like Bushy reveals them on purpose. This I call leaks because it doesn't look like it's on purpose, and like therefore, it's something that we didn't need to know this early, and if we're gonna know it anyways. So first we have Elaborate Costume Athenia, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, continues rear guard. You play in normal order, the strength is 5k power, and then auto rear guard, 1 placed on rear guard, counter boss, 1 search deck or drop zone for up to 1 pretty demon coordination, reveal it, add it to your hand, shuffle deck if you searched it. So I thought this order that it talks about was going to be like the gimmick of the Gorgon Sister deck. I say this for a reason, but it turns out, remember all those cards that had set, or all the nations that had set order, or not set order, normal order searchers? Yeah, here's her hers, so or Lyrical Monasterio. So very solid. And if you're wondering what the order does, Pretty Demon Coronation, choose one of your rear guards till end of turn. It gets auto rear guard at the end of your turn. Return this unit to the hand at the end of your turn. You can ditch one to add this back to hand. So cool. Rear guard bouncing, so worst case scenario, you can call triggers and bounce them back to hand. And this does actually work for the Gorgon Sister deck because, yep, they actually leaked the Gorgon Sister one. So grade 3 to Persona at 13k base. Here's your better image of it. Continuous Vanguard Circle. If your opponent has 2 or less units in their front row rear guard circles or on their guard circle, it gets +1 crit and +1 drive. So I'm assuming that means they have to, like, if they have one or the other, it doesn't matter. It's not getting the crit and the drive. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, unless it means you have to have both, then in that case that's going to be very fun where everything is a 2 to pass, or like you have to drop down every 2 cards. But hey, double crit and triple drive, pretty solid. And then Auto Vanguard, when it is attacked, you can put any trigger unit from your hand into your soul, and she goes plus 15k power for the turn, or for the battle. What my friend made me realize, this means you can run more draw triggers, because now draw triggers have the same shield as every other trigger. Cool. And then finally, Auto Vanguard, at the end of the battle in which this unit was attacked by a rear guard, if you did not place any cards on guard circle, the part I love about this, for when I saw this from Discord, not my Discord, but the Discord I got this from, how everyone just started typing in chat, your opponent may discard a card from their hand. If they do not, bind that rear guard that attacked. This is a Denial Griffin. What I love about this too is so many people were recently talking about them wanting to like either add more defensive stuff to the meta or get rid of the blitz order once per turn thing. Technically, I count her as a blitz order on the simple fact that most blitz orders that give power tend to give about 15k, so I count her for that reason alone, but also straight up Denial Griffin, that is not a hard once per turn. I can't wait to get a better image of this and play this. 4 of. That's actually, for those people that wanted defensive capabilities in the meta, there you go. Free 15k shield for any trigger, and straight up is a Denial Griffin if your opponent doesn't discard one. Take that as you will. Then we have Heartwarming Smile Noella, grade 2 and set 5k shield, 10k base, act rear guard. If you have Vanguard with Medial in its card name, put it to soul to choose one of your Vanguards till end of turn. When you choose card from your drop zone for that unit's original act ability, choose 2 instead of 1. I think Medial's skill was you call 1 card from drop, so being able to call 2 is pretty nice, though it's weird that that's the skill they focus on, but hey, it does get her soul, and I believe Medial needed soul, and if she didn't, then she does now. For light that illuminates the night, Capalatio, we have a moon in the background, already good card to me. Great on boost, 5k shield, 6k base actually. Auto, when she's placed on rear guard circle, if your Vanguard Medial in its card name, Current Boss 1 Soul Boss, when she's a card from you, drop them with a grade equal to lower to your Vanguard, call it to rear guard. Okay, this is like Force Glow basically from Magnolia, where if you combine it you can revive an entire board, because you know if you combine it with Noella and the Vanguard calls something back, like say for example they call this and something else, you then use her skill to call something else back, so 1 unit made 3, so all around pretty solid. Not an amazing card by any means, but the fact that she can get another rear guard out is pretty decent. So I would say about a 2 of warranting, because you don't want to see too many of her because CB Soul B problems, but she's still nice for rear guard maintaining. Then we have obvious Hazeret cards. Grade 2 and 5k shield, 9k base. First event participation, Robelia. Auto, when she's put to bottom of the deck from your rear guard circle during the battle phase. Soul Blast 2, choose one of your backward units, move it to the open front row, and it gets plus 10k power for the turn. Cool. Multi-attack. Numbers. I'm glad it doesn't say back row center, because I believe there was one that wanted to be in back row center. So, yeah. 2 of 3 of, I guess. Downside is it costs 2 CB, but not 2 CB, 2 soul, but hey, it's worth it. Then we have this one, who I kind of don't know what to think about for this one. Fallible Gatortopia, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 7k base. Auto when placed on rear guard circle, if you have a Hazeret Vanguard, CB1 and choose up to 2 cards from your hand, put them soul, and draw cards equal to the number put. So you either send 1 card and you get 1 draw, you send 0 cards, you get 0, which I would question why you pay the CB then, or you just CB1, send 2 cards, get 2 cards. I don't know why I feel about this, just because it feels like they made this thing just to make her better, but A, it's not a bad card, so if you run her, you run this one as at least a 2 of or 3 of.
Next up, we have our last few reveals for the day. First up, we have our new line that we're going to get from Youthquake going into the special series set 11, and that is the Luan line. So we have Dreaming Bond Luan, the grade 0, Studying Bonds Luan, the grade 1, the Guardian of the Earth Luan, grade 2, and finally the Soul Awakened Guardian, grade 3. So all around, very interesting. I very like the concept. I mean, I'm a big fan of knights, and horses are my guilty pleasure, so quite literally this is like my favorite line of all time. But it got me thinking that a lot of people think that we're gonna get a Masquez for both Keter and Dragon Empire in this set, and honestly, I can see Luan being the one to get the Masquez just because like he gives off the Max Knight vibe, you know? All around though, very solid, and I can't wait to see what these skills do. Then we have Super Aesthetic Shot, a normal order, grade 3 for Lyrical Monasterio, played by Counterbossing 1, and you, the player, get all your rear guards get plus 5,000 power during your turn. Cool, this is honestly a very cool generic order because it basically gives everyone that set order from what's it called, from Lyrical Monasterio trial deck, except at a cheaper cost, and you the player get it, meaning if you do some superior ride bullshit with, like, say for example Lestial, you still get to keep the 5k power for your board. All around very solid, and now Lyrical Monasterio has a giant deck worth of beat sticks because of this, so about 2 to 3, a very good order. Then we have Rainbow Jeweled Beast Alparius, so grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, honestly the cutest out of all of them in my opinion. Auto, when it's placed on rear guard or put on the guard circle, put a total of 2 cards from your soul or drop zone that were originally in the ride deck back into the ride deck face up, and perform one of the following according to the circle that this unit is on. If it's on rear guard, you choose a card the same card name as your vanguard from soul or drop and bounce it to hand, and it gets plus 15k shield if it's on guard circle. So 20k shield is pretty nice, but also the fact that this card can recycle persona rides, or, you know, like discard fodder for stuff like maybe, actually I can't really think of anything with discard fodder, but it can recycle stuff like Pacifica, which you can then use to send to Soul, but then again it has to be the same name. But hey, all around very solid. I like Obarius, and I kind of can't wait to see where they're going further from that. But honestly, I really love these jewel beasts. They're really cute, and I really hope like we get some generic blitz order that can be played with all of them that just has all their arts on it, because I really love them. So 2 of. Then we have Song Dragon Walbreezia. I have no idea if this is its official name or not. I literally had to Google translate this because the place I normally get the names from is refusing to post this for some reason. Anyways, grade 3 generic persona, 13k base. Auto, when placed on rear guard circle, put on guard circle, choose to 1 grade 4 card from your hand, reveal it. If you reveal a card or your vanguard's a grade 4, perform one of the following according to the circle this unit's on. If it's on rear guard, counterpass 1 to draw a card and get plus 10k for the turn. So cool, 23k beat stick with a free draw. And if it's on guard circle, plus 15k shield. And then auto is just from hand for riding for a grade 3 from ride deck, or paying strike cost, you get a draw. All around though, pretty solid. You get a draw regardless, and being able to possibly get a plus 10,000 power out of it is all around a pretty good skill. And even though I know this is only the Google Translate name, I really like the name of Walbreezia for some reason, so I really hope this is somewhat close. So honestly, I like her, and I might just run her from my deck Kyrie deck at 4 just because she looks cool. I don't know. And then finally, another Google translated card, and that is a grade 2 5k shield, 10k base, Soaring Bubble Penelope. So continues rear guard during your turn. If your Vanguard Kyrie in his card name, it gets plus 5k power. So cool, it works whether you're on the grade 4 or the grade 3. And then auto rear guard, hard once per turn. When your other front row rear guard is returned to the hand by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Kyrie in its card name, Soul Blast 1 to stand all of your rear guards in the same column as this unit. And your Vanguard is grade 4 or greater, all your front row units get plus 5,000 power for the turn. So that was my first time actually reading this skill. I did not read any of these cards. I mean, I knew what these 2 did because every deck has these, but and I knew what this one did because it was very short. I did not read what this did. So 15k base the second you get to Akari, and regardless of what grade your Vanguard is at, when you do a bounce skill, she will automatically stand her column, and all for 1 soul blast, I might add. And then if you're on grade 4, the entire front row gets plus 5k. Suddenly, this order is seeming a lot more powerful, and because of how it procs off of Live Kari, whatever you call from her is probably getting a total of plus 10 if not plus 15. This is a 4 of, and I cannot say any other reason why. And without further ado, we're going to end this one here. I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, we got some pretty nice reveals. Next week, we will have full-on confirmed Sienna, so I'll probably do a fight before we get that reveal on the Ezel Vanity. And we probably have some more stuff to go over, but I'll figure that out when we get there. So I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join us on Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your Vanguards.